Ndị be anyị ekenekwanụ m unu ọzọ n'ụbọchị uhuruchi nke taa ka unu si wee na-esoro anyị n'ilu akwụkwọ n'ife anyị na-eme na Eastern News 24. A sị na ndị Igbo n'ụbọchị nke taa dịrị na anyị na mma. A sị na ya dịka echi na echi ada agwụ agwụ, esikwa ndụ mmiri ndụ azụ mmiri atara m azụ anwụra. Dịka o si dị na anyị n'ilu akwụkwọ unu na-afụ onye na-afụ n'ilu akwụkwọ unu ma onye na-ekwu maka ya. Ewere ife o were ego anyị dị oke mkpa maka ekwere unu nkwa na a ga na-etinyere unu update n'elu akwụkwọ bụ gbasata maka Maazị Nnamdi Kanu, anụ gbasata maka nnwere onwe ndị Igbo na-azọ, anụ gbasata maka ife na-eme n'obodo a. Ọ bụ ife anyị kwere unu na nkwa na a ga na-etinyere unu. Ị ga-esi ebe ife anyị ji maka ya wee bịa n'uhuruchi nke tata kabalụ ịdrọpụra your own comment, your own contribution gbasata maka ife iche n'ihe ndị a niile ekwugasị n'elu akwụkwọ gbasata maka nnwere onwe and gbasata maka ife na-eme n'obodo a, and also gbasata maka ọdịmma mma ndị Igbo. Ọ gwara nkwa ha m n'ọnụ gị bụ onye ọma na-ege ntị, ngwa gịa na ya bụ ife unu ga-esi na drọpụra ife nchere. All right, over to you.
Met. They had a foreign governors forum meeting, and they came out of that meeting lamenting the situation in that region. They're also concerned that the region has been neglected in the allocation of federal government capital projects. The forum noted with dismay that despite its cry for attention on the state of infrastructure in the region, which has been consistently echoed in all its communiques over the years, especially the poor road and railway infrastructure along the economic corridors that link the Northeast sub-region to the rest of the country, nothing serious seemed to be happening. Let's at least listen to one of the governors of the Northeast speaking after the end of the meeting.
Forum reiterates its concern over the seeming neglect of the Northeast in the allocation of the federal government capital project. It noted with dismay that despite its cry for attention on the state of infrastructure in the region, which has been consistently echoed in all its communique over the years, especially the poor roads and railway infrastructures along the economic corridors that links the Northeast sub-region to the rest of the country. The region is also not included in the National Infrastructure Plan for the transition from the PMS to compressed gas. The forum is calling on the federal government to look into the situation and consider the reconstruction of these basic infrastructures along Enugu-Maiduguri economic corridors and inclusion of the Northeast in all national development plans and initiatives.
That's the governor of Adamawa State, Amadou Fintiri, was speaking. We read the communique after the meeting in Bauchi. It was a day or two after the defense headquarters had come out to say they've made tremendous progress in rooting out insurgents, and they are going after some of them also who are remaining, causing havoc in different parts of the northeastern region of the country, and of course, in some parts of the country. But let's take a look at and dissect deeply what the implication of the concern of these governors are, the situation with security in the country. I'm being joined tonight by a political and social commentator and a former executive secretary, National Health Insurance Scheme. Professor Usman Yusuf joins us live here in our Abuja studio. Thanks so much, Prof. And it's good to see you again.
Thank you for having me.
When you hearing the governors of the Northeast region lamenting the situation in the region, what comes to your heart when you hear that kind of complaint about the seeming neglect by the federal government?
Right, and to be honest, Shehu, I'm surprised you called me. There are people a lot more qualified and more eloquent, and they know the Northeast than I. But be that as it may, this balkanization of Nigeria worries me. Northeast, Southeast. When we were growing up, we didn't have Northwest, Northeast, North Central, North this, North that, North that. We had one Nigeria. And all you hear are lamentations. So we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this, we need this. Yeah, every region, we have issues. What is the Northeast Development Commission doing? What have they done since they were inaugurated? They were brought to develop the Northeast after the ravages of Boko Haram. What have they done, and what have been the roles of these governors in holding them accountable? In the last government, President Buhari's government, they had a very good representation. The chief of staff was the one that shepherded the creation of Northeast Development Commission. And now there is a vice president, there is NSA, there is, what are they doing to address these issues?
How bad is the seeming neglect of the Northeast region of the country?
The neglect?
You understand that region very well.
No, Northwest. I understand Northwest. I don't know Northeast. I'll tell you, the North, we complain in the Northwest that we had a president that we never had anything from. Go to Katsina today, where I come from. There's nothing that we had a president for 8 years. The Northwest, let him tell us what he's done. He couldn't even complete the Abuja to Kano highway for 8 years. How more neglectful can that be?
The same thing that the governor of the Northeast is saying. They say, in fact, in terms of infrastructure, the economic corridors have been abandoned.
Absolutely.
In terms of road network, in terms of railway construction. I mean, what has been happening so much that it looks like this has happened over the years without anybody? Could it be the insurgency that has ravaged that region, that has destroyed all of this infrastructure? Or that region has been like that for years?
No, I'm not, and I'm not minimizing the issues that the governors are raising. The Northeast, because of Boko Haram, has literally been devastated. You sit down with senior military officers that were there, that fought in the field, they will tell you, this is not what we would wish for any region. The whole region has been devastated. Outside Maiduguri, there's not much. The whole region, education is pillaged. We have malnutrition there, the health. Look at the number of doctors in Maiduguri. You would cry. The region has suffered the devastation of Boko Haram, and that is what we are seeing here. And that's exactly what is translating in the Northwest. The region has been in a mess for now 15 years, fighting a war for 15 years. No region can sustain what the Northeast has gone through. The question is, what have the governors been doing? What do they do? Now governors are awash with money after removal of subsidy. How have they been taking care of the issues of the people? Education, health. They went to Bauchi and they inaugurated the mansion of the government house, as if that's the priority of people of Bauchi. Governors are awash with money and their priorities are messed up. The reality is, in the North, not only the Northeast, 3 major problems: ravaging insecurity, excruciating poverty, and hunger. It's all over the region.
You talked about that too.
All over the region.
They say that the socio-economic situation in the Northeast is very bad.
Absolutely.
Price of commodities, hunger in that region, malnutrition, and poverty. The governors also brought it back.
These are the 3 main
But what do you make of the manner in which our nation is structured, our federal system is structured? It's supposed to allow the federating units to be able to live their own lives in such a way that they can stand on their own and minimally look up to the center for help. But it does look like everyone suck up to the center.
Yeah, because that's...
And the survivor of the constituent unit is limited.
Right, because that's where all the money is. That's where all the money is. Anybody that has the money, and then he has control of everybody else goes to him. And this is what all the governors do. They go with their pants every month, collect the money, and a lot of them go to the BDC, change the money into dollars, nothing get back home. This is the sad situation we are in. In the North, if I'm the president or if I'm the governor in any state, we are richer than the South.
In what sense?
Many ways. 3 things. The North, agriculture, if we concentrate on 3 things: agriculture, solid minerals, and solar, we'll be done. All the water, all the hydroelectric power stations are in the North. Mambila. The Northeast is complaining there's no power. When
Mandela isn't, nothing is happening.
Yeah.
There are a lot of lamentation
Yeah,
over
who was there? Who was there before? If we had developed Mambila, we wouldn't be in this mess. The North is richer than the South. We need
in terms of deposits,
agriculture.
untapped deposits.
Absolutely. We have the land for agriculture. We can feed not only Nigeria, but the whole of West Africa. Secure our people, let them go back to the farm. Number two, and do not abandon agriculture and go and run after this oil that is fluctuating all over the place. Solid minerals, we have it all. Why is the fight in Zamfara and all over this northwestern state? Because of gold.
Largely.
Yeah, a lot of it. And then previously in the last government, the National Security Advisor will come and say, oh, mining has been banned, no fly zone, no follow-up. Thirdly, and people should ask, where has been the gold of Zamfara? Where is the gold? We have the sun. We can power not only the region, but we can power the whole of the country. Whatever, all the governors largely, I mean, look, we look at the president more than we look at the governors. To be honest with you, largely 80% of our problems are the governors.
Would you say that the major problem of the North is bad leadership?
It's not only the North, the whole of the country is only just a measure of degrees. Just a measure of degrees all over the country.
Because you look at the indices.
Yeah,
you look at the indices in the northern region of the country compared to the South. You imagine the human capital development, poverty figures there, out of school children,
absolutely.
Malnutrition, poverty. A lot of the indices that determine human capital development they're in the negatives when you talk about the northern region of the country. And that's why I asked the question, what is the role? And you also imagine, in terms of quota, how many leaders at the national level have governed this country? You see that we perhaps will have had more presidents in the northern region of the country than the southern region of the country.
Right, and it's corruption and bad governance. I've said it again and again and again and again. We've had leaders in this country that we have benefited from, and all of these governors, all of these ministers have benefited from the good governance of our leaders past. All of them.
In the First and Second Republic.
Absolutely. They were good custodians of that which they were entrusted with.
What went wrong? Where did we start to get it wrong?
They were good custodians. They trained us. They did not accumulate. But now everybody else, the governor wants to not only accumulate, but leaves the state treasury empty. Not only that, indebted. So the goal, the primary thing is corruption and bad governance. Corruption and bad governance. It's everywhere. It's only more pronounced here because of the insecurity. It's going to bite us. And I've been saying it again and again, again and again. How many governors, how many ministers, how many service chiefs can retire and go back home and stay? Like those leaders of our time used to do. They used to go back home and stay with their people. Shagari went back home and stayed with his people. How many of these governors, these service chiefs, these ministers will go back home? Ancestral home. All IDPs in Abuja because of bad governance. Right. We have our borehole, we have huge fence with electric fence, we have security man with a gun, we have dogs inside the house, we have CCTV. We don't feel safe after accumulating all of this. And we've forgotten home. And I said it again and again and again and again. We, all of us, bore the pregnancy and gave birth to this mess we're seeing around.
There are those who have said over and over again that we're sitting on a keg of gunpowder.
Yeah,
that word has been said over and over again. That keg, the sitting on it has been for so long. And now perhaps the gunpowder is exploding in our faces as we see because of some of the situation that the kind of violence that emanate in some part of this country. And you imagine the ideological and the psychological orientation that is breeding this kind of violence, where it's coming from. And I guess it's a sitting or the keg of gunpowder that is already now blustering in our faces,
But
isn't it?
you see, it's the injustice. I come to Abuja, sometimes I see Wike is doing a good job. Roads are, and I go back home, I see the poverty. I say, so we have money in this country? Or I see a governor building flyovers where millions of people, Nigerians, in his neighborhood, predominantly women and children, go to bed hungry. So we have money to do all of this, but we don't have money to take care of people. We don't employ our kids. We don't feed. Our hospitals are in a mess. Our schools are in a mess, and we expect peace. We come to Abuja, build big houses with razor wire fences, electric fence, and expect to live in peace. Peace will never come to any society where there is this much injustice and inequity. We'll only be deceiving ourselves, going around town in big black SUVs and sirens.
Let me allow you to, I know you're passionate about, you've made a lot of effort and collaborated with a lot of people with the issue of security in this country. And a lot of the times, I'm excited, as much as I know that we are still far from achieving the result of securing Nigeria 100%. But when there are efforts that are being made, it's good to assess and see how far we have come. Prof, let me allow you to listen to the spokesperson of the Defense Headquarters, who gave a breakdown of some of the efforts that the military have made in rooting out insurgents and some violent extremists in our country in the past few weeks. Take a listen to him.
The troops recorded additional surrender of terrorists and their family members, and these surrenders took place in Mafa and Bama local government areas of Borno State, as well as Gujba local government area of Yobe State. The troops of Operation Hadinkai also conducted offensive operations at locations such as Damboa, Mafa, Dikwa, Goza.
All right, you heard him. What gladdens your heart from this effort? Do you think from what we saw in the last 1 year and now, we're making a gradual process in securing this country somehow?
You see, the military, they're doing their best and more. No military can withstand this much stretch. 15 years of Boko Haram, 9 years of
banditry.
How many soldiers do we have? Stretched all over the country, deployed all across 36 geopolitical zones.
And sit at home and hyper agitation
everywhere, everywhere. And largely, a lot of what they're doing, internal policing. They are taking the responsibility of the police. They are taking the responsibility of everybody. They are doing their part and they are doing more. But we are overstretching our military. There are conflicts that are not military. We are continuing to militarize it. I've said it again and again. Without the military, you and I will not be sitting here talking and criticizing them. They're doing their part. It's our duty and responsibility as citizens too. We have children, we have younger brothers. All our mates have left the military way high up there. This is our military, nobody else's military. Without them, we wouldn't be here sitting criticizing. And we salute them for whatever they are doing. We are putting our military, especially in the Northwest and North Central, through difficult things, where everybody should come in. I've said it again and again, the banditry, I know you don't hear me talk about Boko Haram because honestly, I don't know it much, and there are people a lot more qualified, a lot more eloquent than I to speak about that. Banditry is what I've invested time in all this time. We must all come in. We are exposing the military too much in political mess. Banditry has been the political mess politicians are creating and continuing to nurture. We must help the military and all come in. Where the military needs to be, the military needs to be. There's a role for the military. There's not going to be a military solution to banditry. I've said it again and again. They've done a wonderful job in Boko Haram. They've liberated almost all the local governments. I think only one, if that, without... the former chief of defense staff used to tell us when we were doing this job, when we were getting this trained guys out, say, gentlemen, remain focused. I have been to the Northeast. I have seen the devastation of war. We don't want this in any part of this country. Do your part. And this is what the military is doing, overstretched. Whoever sees a soldier today, salute him for what he or she are doing for this country. Politicians are not doing their part. They are not.
What do you think they should be doing?
Politicians, a lot of the drivers of banditry, insecurity, the levers, governors and politicians have it in their hands. Education, malnutrition, drugs, unemployment. These are the drivers that fuel all of this. You're calling soldiers to come and fight this when the politician has it. He's living here as if it is 1999 and sending soldiers to quell, to shoot places where there's no water, where there is no food. The military, we are putting them in an impossible situation where politicians are not doing their part. They're getting frustrated, and we are seeing that period of frustration. They pulled out of 2 bandit-infested areas, one in Zamfara, in Maru, and one in Shiroro. They've taken hits all over this country. You hear from Delta to Zamfara to Katsina to Kaduna. Officers and men lost from ambushes. In the 8 months of this government, we've lost about, as is reported, many they don't report, over 500 officers and men in this conflict. Ambushes in these conflicts. For goodness sake. They are there to protect and save our people, and these terrorists are killing them. What are we doing? What are you doing? Sure, when you're doing your part. Sometimes I say, what am I doing? Everybody must do his part.
If you look at it fundamentally, and we need to start holding our politicians and those who are in power accountable. If you say they are corporates, and in all of this, and why we have so much of this eating into our polity and destroying a gradual destruction, because when the rats start eating up the bread, it eats it in crumbs until the bread vanishes. The question is that in the immediate, what can the average citizen be looking at as an expectation on the politicians, on the leaders who are in political power, whom you have accused of neglect to the people?
And I'm telling you, to be honest, the ordinary citizen has given up. He has given up.
On the politicians? On
the politicians. You go to... There is a report by the American Society or Nigerian Society of Hypertension. Doctors that take care of people who have hypertension. Of the 70 million Nigerians, adults, that have hypertension, half of them, that's 35 million, are not on medication because of the skyrocketing cost of medications. They've stopped taking their medications. That's why we see a lot of complications from hypertension, strokes, heart disease, renal failure. People die. People don't go to hospital because they cannot afford it. It's not the soldier that does this. What is the price of a loaf of bread now? Family loaf in Abuja, 1,200, 1,300. You go to many villages. You bring out 1,000 naira, wallahi, nobody can give you change. That's how poor people are. Yet our leaders are here, they are disconnected from realities of our people. We've seen how the other time members of the Senate are saying, oh, this one got 500 million, this one got 200 million. They are disconnected from realities of our people. People have given up on them. There is nothing a politician from top, from local government to the president, that will tell the people that they will believe him now. This is the honest truth. They've lost faith. They've lost faith in our politicians, with good reasons too. Because all deception, we're going to do this, nothing happens. Look at this. I mean, on the 8th of February, Mr. President gave an order, a directive, that 42,000 metric tons of grains to be taken out of strategic reserve silos and given to vulnerables. Today is 4 months. Which vulnerable Nigerian has gotten this? If one governor, one northern governor even declared 5 working days, we are going to distribute this palliatives. Nothing happened. What really angers me, 64 years after independence, we are still distributing grains to people. Just like you see in the Sudan or in Gaza, in a country of plenty. In a country where we're building, the president is building a highway from Lagos to Calabar of 15.6 trillion. That is 56% of the 2024 budget. People are lining up to get cups of grains from the governors. All the windfall the governors get, they go back home, they give people grains, cups of grains, women and children to shut them up while they continue. And you expect peace? Can never be peace in a country like this.
Prof, if you look at the last, and we need to start holding government accountable and those who are in position of leadership, you look at what has happened over the last 300 plus days of this government, how would you assess it?
I've said it. I've just written a paper that said Tinubu's reign of deception, destitution, and hopelessness. So we're going to do this. The example I just gave you, they're going to deliver palliatives in 4 months. Nobody has gotten it. It's one thing after the other. People have lost hope. Destitution, our people, it really hurts me and pains me to see our people, predominantly women and children, lining up.
The government promised renewed hope.
To get cups. Renewed hope has turned into hopelessness. Get any young man anywhere on the streets. We're even talking of Abuja, go to the villages, where we all come from. People have lost hope.
The government says that, I mean, it's an initial pangs of pains of the policies, that things will start getting better. Are you hopeful at all? That some of these policies may be good in its sense, but maybe we are not seeing the result just yet?
No, I honestly, I mean, and I've been here before. So I want in the last 1 year, and from next week they will start telling us their propaganda. What have they done that has benefited the ordinary person? What have they done? In a span of 1 year, they have made millions more people back into multidimensional poverty. They have pushed millions more children into out of school because parents cannot pay for their school fees. They have put many more people hungry in 1 year. So what have you done? What have you done? I want government to tell us, don't give me the story about, oh, they're just floating the dollar. It's all another deception. You increase the taxes, you hike the interest rate, and you borrow money thinking you'll prop the naira artificially, and you keep taxing everybody. This is exactly what he did, what the president did in Lagos. Tax, 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 tax. And the economic team, to me, honestly, look more like tax collectors than economists. Taxation does not grow economies. Only production does. They seem out of, they're out of their depth, to be honest. The common man does not see the way out. The last year has been a year of nothing but deception, destitution, and hopelessness.
Professor Usman Yusuf, thank you so much for your thought. I appreciate it. And I hope that our nation will be better for it if government and those who are in power listen to voice of dissent and criticism for the good of our people. We'll all be better for it. Thanks so much, Prof. As always.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Ndị be anyị daalụ nne kwunu si na-esoro anyị ya na-eme n'iru akwụkwọ dịka iso wee gee ya bụ ife ịnụrụ ihe the Ballon the Gentle Lion kwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ n'ụbọchị nke taata anọ. Ọzọ dịka ibe ya bụ ka efi nwere ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife ndị a niile o kwugasị n'iru akwụkwọ. Ife o kwuru riri nne o kwuru ya dịka o si dị ka efi nwere ike ikwu gbasịta maka ya bụ ife drop ya on the comment section below. Chetakwa na ya bụ Eastern News 24 ka anyị si were wetara unu nnukwu ozi ya n'oke mkpa. Daalụ na ụmụnne m, gwa nke emesịa.